We've got a fun one for you on Gun Talk Nation today. Gavin Gear, the ultimate reloader, is in the house. He's in the studio in person because he is here to teach a reloading class at Range Ready. So we're going to talk about intro to reloading with Gavin. This Gun Talk Nation is brought to you by Leupold, Colt, Meprolite, and Walther. Welcome into Gun Talk Nation. We're going to go ahead and dive right in because with us today on the show, Gavin Gears, Ultimate Reloader. And Gavin, as you might be able to tell if you're a detective, is into reloading. So everybody's getting into reloading or getting back into reloading. Mm-hmm. We're hearing a lot of that these days. I mean, you're the guy. You're the expert, and you've got channels, plural. Mm-hmm. I guess first off, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where can people find you? Mm-hmm. What's your background in this?
Yeah, so you can find us on ultimatereloader.com. That's where all the articles go. Our YouTube channel is called GavinTube, but Ultimate Reloader will also take you there. It's kind of a long story on the original naming there.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we're on Instagram. We're on Rumble. We're on a number of platforms. A lot of it would be just the website and YouTube, kind of the main things that we're known for. And in terms of how I came into this, it was actually, the joke is, I'm going to save money reloading, right?
Well, that was a question I was going to throw out there on this one.
Initially, that was actually a necessity for me. I had bought a 44 Magnum, and I was really enjoying shooting it at the range, a couple boxes a week, right? Mm-hmm. Back in the day, that was like an $18 a box habit, and I couldn't really justify that cost at the time, when young kids at home, all that kind of thing. And so I bought cheapest reloader I could find, and I didn't even buy case lube. I had Lemon Pledge that I stole from my wife.
Really?
And I succeeded in loading ammo at about $6.50 a box of 50.
Okay.
I would shoot a couple of those a week, and I'm thinking, well, this is great, but as a mechanical engineer and someone that likes to tinker with machines and has appreciation for fine gear, it didn't take long, for that upgrade pathway to start.
It wasn't just a matter of making some ammo to go bang.
Right.
Then it just down the rabbit hole you went.
It started out, save money. It's a necessity to shoot. And then all of a sudden I thought, well, I need a better machine here. This is awesome. And I went into analysis paralysis, had a long pathway to decide which 5-station press to upgrade from. I had a 3-station press at the time. And then I thought, I want to share this with people. At the time, it was 2007, not a lot of information on YouTube about reloading. I think there was 1 or 2 videos covering the press that I had.
Right.
And so I just started to, share info. I had a tape camcorder. At one point, I had a headlamp on my head and a step stool showing people the case feeder, up above the machine. It was really low tech. And then I just got more into it. I want to show all the machines. I want to show this. I want to show that. Get into pistol and rifle, and it's just been a slippery slope that I've been sliding down ever since of obsession.
So I'm going to back up here. 44 Magnum. Mm-hmm. Like nobody goes, was that your first gun?
It was my first handgun, and
really,
and it was from necessity too, right?
Okay,
like
how did that come
hiking
about?
In the Pacific Northwest. You never know when you're going to happen upon a black bear or a cougar or whatever. And I thought, hey, I'm kind of an extreme guy. Right now, I commute in a dually Dodge Cummins turbo diesel. It's like I always think, you want to bring enough gun, you want to bring enough truck, right?
Right.
And so I thought, I'll get a 4-inch 44 Magnum. I'll carry it while I'm hiking. Guess what? I like shooting it too, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what led to the reloading was I want to shoot this more. You
still have that gun?
No, it was a piece of junk.
Really?
No, it was the first cylinder of ammo that went through it, which was that more expensive factory ammo, broke the latch on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the latch that holds the cylinder in place, that just broke.
It's a problem.
And then I had the front sight sticker fall off, and I think I had a third problem with it as well. So I sold that 44 mag and I upgraded to a Smith & Wesson.
Okay.
629 4-inch. Yep. And that's still one of my favorite handguns to shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Smith knows a few things about making revolvers.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job.
I think of it like a Harley. It might not have all the latest features to be the fastest thing around, but it's USA. So it screams USA. I like the lines on it. It's a piece of quality, and it's going to always hold its value.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, so So reloading, we're going to talk reloading on this one. So you are here at our studio, which is awesome.
By the way. I love this
having
facility.
you here.
This is amazing.
Thank you.
It's inspiring for me.
Thank you. Yeah. It's, we're trying to figure out, how to make it a bigger thing and have more people here. We keep telling people, look, we are having classes. This is like a new thing for Gun Talk is we have this part called Range Ready, and we've run a few pistol classes. We've run a few rifle classes, but this is the first reloader class. So I've been kind of calling it Intro to Reloader. I think you have a different name or way to put it.
Yeah. Reloading for pistol and rifle,
Yeah.
basically the 100 level course of all the topics.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more to do beyond that, but yeah, everything you need to know to get started reloading. Let's put it that way.
So if somebody is like, okay, I'm wanting to get into reloading. You get this, I'm sure you get this question all the time. Where do I start? But there's probably like a lot of things. What gun should I get?
Yep.
It's just they ask you a question, then we start asking them questions. Where do you go with it?
Well, I think when someone is looking into getting, started with reloading and all that, I don't think it's a bad decision, but you do have to ask, do I have the time to do it? And do I want to do it? It's kind of like you don't want someone in the pilot seat of the plane you're riding on that doesn't really want to be there. You know, you don't want to be reloading ammo and not really be paying attention to the details and make a mistake. Right?
Sure.
Because that could be, a catastrophic mistake. And a lot of people, we were just talking about this a couple hours ago, they think, oh, I'm going to go buy this gun, I'm going to go shooting all the time, and then it just sits and it, collects dust more or less, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays, I think a lot of people think of reloading equipment as a backup plan, right? With all the regulations and primer shortages. Well, I guess that doesn't help you reload, but ammo shortages, right? In 2020, when we had all of those events happen at once, George Floyd, the election, and the pandemic, right? That's anything that is an instability politically or otherwise in the world can affect ammo supply, can affect components and that kind of thing. So for some people, I think the reloading equipment and the knowledge is a backup plan. For other people, it's going to help them, accomplish their goals. And regarding getting into it, one of the questions I get a lot is, should I start with a single stage press or should I start with a progressive press, right? And in the middle there, you have a turret press, right? Very simple, medium complexity, and, very complicated. And I started with a progressive, which is a more complicated machine. I wanted to do handgun ammo, right? And I'm going to load that in bulk.
I was going to say, typically a progressive is all about loading for volume, not as much about like building a load or being, precision. And
it certainly can be.
Yeah, you could be precise with it.
Yes, especially certain presses. But typically, your people focused on precision are going to be looking for that single stage press, maybe manual powder dropper with a trickler, that sort of process. And then your pistol loader is definitely going to be on a progressive, because if you're going to load 50, the difference a lot of the loaders number designations are how many rounds per hour they do, right? So 650 was 650 rounds per hour, RL 1100 rounds per hour, approximately, more or less. You got to load those components, right?
Yeah. Keep the hoppers full.
Right. With a single stage loading setup, you might be doing 50 an hour, right? Depending on if you're doing case prep and all that kind of thing. And with a pistol, you don't need the accuracy in the same way as you do with a rifle.
Right. Yeah. Sure. And it's funny because it just depends on the person whether they say, well, I loaded 50 and then I'm going to go to the range on the weekend and maybe I'll get through all 50 because, I'm doing some accuracy stuff or I'm chronoing, I've got notes and I'm nerding out on that side of it, which is cool. Another way to interact with guns.
Yep.
And then there's the guy who goes, 50? Like in 30 minutes, I'm going to be done.
Sure. Yeah. Or less.
Yeah.
And I think part of that has to do with life stage. A lot of the retired guys, they're on a limited budget. They have all the time in the world, right? So why not enjoy every round of ammunition?
Sure.
From prepping it to loading it to shooting it, not in a hurry, and it all works, right? But for someone that is a competitive pistol shooter and they have kids at home and they have other hobbies that they're interested in, demanding job,
Yeah.
then obviously time is money, and you want to be as efficient as possible. We're actually seeing boutique ammunition manufacturers spring up.
Really?
So like, let's say you're a PRS competitor. PRS is Precision Rifle Series and related shooting, right? That style of fast, tactical, medium to long range shooting. Typically, these guys are on a single stage press, and they've got these powder measures and dispensers that can dispense to 1 granule of powder of accuracy, right? A lot of people realize that the wind alone is such a big factor that the precision reloading process, certain things that are important, other things that are less. And these boutique ammunition manufacturers can build ammo for PRS competitors that is going to be well within their standards and guidelines.
Above what we might call just factory
Yes.
pump it out ammo.
Yes. Example, guy Michael Vantage from Vantage Research is developing some cool stuff that I don't think I can really talk about, but the net result should be ammo that's as precise, even with powder metering, as factory ammo would be.
Wow.
Right? And let's say that you're a physician or a high power attorney or something like that, but you really like to shoot PRS.
Sure.
It's not about the money. It's about accomplishing the goal, and it's about your time, right?
Sure.
So this whole decision about whether to reload or not is really a personal decision, and it just amounts to, taking into account what your goals are and what your budget is and how much time you have, right?
And we were talking earlier also about people have different ways of enjoying guns and shooting, right? And people have different personalities. I was saying certain people, Gavin, likes to know how things work. I want to know the ins and outs of it, right? Certain people, me, less concerned about how things work. Pull trigger, go hit target, whatever. Who cares how it all happened? But like a lot of people, and you'll go, what do you mean you don't care? But like, it's just not that concerning to me, right? But a lot of people enjoy reloading because it's like, I know everything that went into this. I selected the bullet. Especially if it's not simply I'm just jamming a bunch of FMJs into a progressive reloader. Right. I decided which bullet, grain weight and style bullet, and then deciding which powder and building up my recipe and all this stuff. And that is, like you said, another way to enjoy your shooting.
Even modeling it in software. So there's Gordon's reloading tool and there's Quick Load. And these programs, certain projectile, certain seating depth, certain powder charge, even getting into case capacity, they can model what your muzzle velocity will be. I had this one case where it was within 5 feet per second.
No, it's actually that good.
And I believe at the time I was taking a 6 PPC and I had remodeled the case capacity to be a 6 dasher. It was something like that. It wasn't even the same case, and it was still within 5 feet per second.
Wow.
So to take that conceptual modeling and then to take the components and load them, and then to go out and shoot them over a chronograph, and to see that level of precision throughout the process. And then also you can take a look at, well, what are my peak pressures? Sammy says this is a 65,000 PSI cartridge. I'm hitting 64,000, right?
Right.
And then you look at the case. Do I have any signs of pressure, any sticky bolt lift, flattened primers, whatever that is? Yeah, you can nerd out about as far as you want with this whole thing.
And you were kind of going down that road a little bit. It was where it's like, now we're talking about Wildcats. Like people, people start kind of tweaking and inventing their own stuff. Well, I'm gonna take this case. I'm gonna neck it down to this. I'm gonna create my own chambering, whatever it might be.
Yep.
There's some the dark side, the deep dark side of this.
Yeah, definitely. And sure, there's 1,000 Wildcats out there, but there are still things that are relevant. An example, I was talking with Eric Cortina, who's a world-class F-class shooter. His YouTube channel is great, and he's also got Believe the Target, which is his podcast channel. And he said he was starting to get beat by a Wildcat, which was the 7 PRC Wheeler. You take a 6.5 PRC, you neck it up to 7 millimeters, and there's some other magic in there, with the load and all that. He said, once I started to get beat by this, then I spun up a couple barrels myself, chambered them and all that, right? So, it's easy for people to kind of poo-poo that kind of innovation or this unnecessary proliferation of different cartridges and Wildcats. But there's still room, and you might just want to do something just to do it, Yeah,
fair enough. Quick break, and then I want to talk about favorite calibers and where you can go with this. How far can you take it? You don't need sunglasses. You need Leupold Performance Eyewear. Yeah, Leupold brought out, some people call them sunglasses. They call them performance eyewear because they're rugged, they're lightweight, extremely clear, and each is designed and machined and assembled in the USA and, most importantly, made from ballistically rated materials. And right now, they have a sale going on. Go over to leupold.com to see all the different varieties, flavors, colors of performance eyewear, and they're on sale. Ruger. You know Ruger. They make pistols. They make rifles. They make shotguns. No, they don't make shotguns. No, settle down. They make a lot of different things. But one of the things that they're just known for, they just do a great job with, is the Ruger American. It's a bolt gun. It comes in a lot of different configurations. They have Predator rifles. They have long barrels. They have short barrels. They have magazine fed. And in a lot, they have left-handed. They have right-handed. They have compact ones, youth model, think youth model, and they even have scout rifles. Of course, check them out, Ruger.com, whether you're shooting long range or whether you want to go hunting. The Ruger American Rifle Series is very, very versatile. Meprolite, you know them for optics, you know them for handgun sights, but they also make rifle and shotgun sights. They make the F-Bus, they make the True Dot, they make stuff for AKs. You want to swap out your AK sights that maybe weren't that good to begin with. Also, True Dot shotgun sights. The thing is, Meprolite is very good at making very durable stuff, but also tritium powered. 12-year warranty on this, withstands the heavy recoils of shotguns. So go check them out, meprolite.com. Walther. You know Walther. They make a lot of different things. Yes, even James Bond carried it. But their newest one, the one that's maybe not the newest, but it's the one that's been making all the waves, is the PDP. And PDP, it's your duty to be ready. This was Guns and Ammo and Industry Choice Awards Handgun of the Year in 2021. That was the year it was released. And since then, it's become a favorite of a lot of shooters out there. Let me tell you, one thing I like about Walther is they're very consistent in what they do, and they always want to be known for grip and trigger. And that's no different on this. They have a performance duty trigger. It's the PDP performance duty trigger. It's an improved system, which is achieved by shortening the length of travel and increasing the tactile definition of the trigger break. So all that adds up to good trigger. Also, the grip. They actually have their own texturing on this, and texture is a very personal thing. Some people want it aggressive, but this is kind of, I think, the Goldilocks texture. It's just right. It's not too aggressive. It's not too slick. It fits a lot of hands, and you just have to see it to believe it and feel it to believe it. But check them out, waltherarms.com. Colt is just doing all kinds of things these days. You know them for their 1911s. You know them for the revolvers. You know them for their ARs. But now they have a bolt gun. Yes, the CBX. And so you need to go kind of searching through the internet because this has been quietly released, the Colt CBX, but it's a chassis gun. They custom designed this chassis working with MDT, who are like the chassis gun people. I've shot this gun. I was really impressed by the trigger, which is theirs, and I was also impressed by how smooth the action was, the bolt, and running it. It's a 60-degree bolt throw, which means it's going to fit bigger scopes. The bolt knob is not going to bump in. It's also going to be quicker to run the gun. But it's a modern take on bolt guns. Got to check it out, the Colt CBX. Go to colt.com for more. All right, so I grew up, obviously people know I grew up, this is, my grandfather, my dad, grew up reading gun magazines, reading cartridge about hand loading magazines and ballistics of cartridges.
Yep.
And I admittedly am not necessarily a reloader guy. I'm trying to learn more about it. Mm-hmm. But I do like ballistics and that side of it, of thinking about, that'd be neat. A subsonic 308 or thinking about making a 243 more of a varmint kind of load.
Sure.
And what would you put in there? Because it could be great for that. Just weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
But there's way weirder stuff. I think people who go, favorite caliber. I like 223. I like 308. And I like 7 mag, and you go, man, come on, you're not even trying.
Right.
And you started mentioning some of this. Do you have ones that are favorite to you, and what is it about them that you like?
It's interesting. My job is to show as many cartridges as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So that, because the more interesting stuff I show, the more the audience, gets a variety and just sees more, right? But I tend to gravitate towards cartridges that are either really powerful or are inherently really easy to load and shoot accurately.
Okay.
So, like on the handgun side, I really like the 500 Smith & Wesson Magnum and the 44 mag.
And you load those?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you do anything with a 500 Smith & Wesson? Do you have anything with your loads that you do differently, or what do you like to shoot through it?
I certainly could, but in general, this is a rifle cartridge in terms of power, right?
It's a rifle cartridge in a handgun.
Yeah, so you use
Yeah.
a large rifle primer with it.
Yeah.
How awesome is that, right? There's a bunch of different, and I've loaded up to 700 grain hard cast projectiles.
Wow.
Really, really heavy hitting.
You need to have a very large mountain behind you to make sure you have an appropriate backstop with that thing.
Yeah. So I think casting your own bullets would be interesting, and maybe experimenting with different types of hollow points or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done a lot of that. So 500 is cool. 44 mag. So I talked about my 4-inch 629, right?
Yeah.
The stainless 44 mag six gun. What's cool about hand loading is I can hand load 44 mag cartridges that are either at 44 special level or at 44 mag level.
Sure.
And one of the issues that people are from wheel gun owners are probably really familiar with is I've got a 357 mag, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to shoot 38 specials in it. And you can just buy all this ammo off the shelf. Well, when you put a 38 special on a 357 mag, that case mouth is further back.
Right.
And so you get these crud rings
that
develop in the cylinders, right? And so with hand loading, you can get all the versatility of 38 special and 357 or 44 special and 44 mag, but in 44 mag and 357 brass, respectively. So you don't get the crud rings. You pick the bullet that you want, and you can load it down below the 38 special.
You'll go even lower.
Yeah, and it's really fun.
Powder puff.
If you get someone that doesn't like recoil, but you're like, hey, don't be intimidated by this big gun. It's a pussycat, right? Mm-hmm. So I would say 44 mag would be a favorite because of that. And I do the same thing with the 500. Actually, you load a 350 grain projectile with a low powder charge, and it's the same overall effect. But
how slow can you get it going? I mean, how much loaded down can you do it?
Probably safely around 550 feet per second, which is way, way under where you'd be.
That's like a fast paintball.
Yes. And with the bullet that weighs half what the max weight is,
right?
For that cartridge.
That's neat.
Yeah. And then over on the rifle side, here's the thing. I'm usually with rifles after precision. So I had a 300 Remington Ultra Magnum, and I didn't really enjoy shooting it because it was in a regular stock, hunting rifle. And it was almost impossible to shoot this thing accurately. Now I know there's
just seriously high recoil.
Yeah.
Unless you have a real heavy gun with a big muzzle brake or a silencer.
Exactly. And that's why when I built 2 300 PRCs on the channel. When I say build, I'm talking about machining, chambering, and now Cerakote, bedding, like actually building. When I built the 300 PRCs, one was the 300 RUM that I had converted to a 300 PRC. Didn't really like shooting that one because it's up there in that same power category. The other one I built as a 26-pound rifle.
Yeah, just quit messing around.
Just load it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that thing is great to shoot. And when we shoot our Coyote at 400 on the hill, you get this ringing sound that's really, really loud. I mean, you can just hear it.
You can tell.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. And that's a lot more satisfying than a 223, hitting that cartridge.
Bing.
Yeah. So I like heavy rifles. I like my heavy 223 trainer because it's more extreme, a lot less recoil, and a gun that might not be as heavy as a 26 pounder, but it is perceivably almost no recoil. So you're really focused on your trigger control, and you're focused on all the other things. and it is incredibly accurate. I was wondering, how accurate can I get with a 223 bolt gun, right?
Right.
That was where that project really came from. And
Interesting.
we had a shooting competition after work, and 2 out of the 3 guys shot on the ones
Really?
off of a wood bench with the bipod with this 223 trainer. Just so easy to shoot really accurately. You know, and of course I had a custom reamer from Manson and had a really nice barrel blank and nice everything. But still, at the end of the day, a 223 bolt gun is a really fun thing.
So, and I mean, do you have a particular load that you're doing with that gun?
Yeah, I was mimicking the Berger 80.5 grain. No, excuse me. That's the 222 cal. It's the Berger 77 OTM ammo that shot really, really good out of that rifle. And so we got the Vitavori powder that they use for it, same 77 OTM cartridges, brand new LaPo cases. And we're able to basically duplicate the factory accurate precision, you know, group size, but take the standard deviation of the velocity and tighten it because we were precisely dispensing the powder.
Do you do that? Is that something that you normally like to do, is get some factory loads, figure out kind of what the gun likes, and then sort of mimic it but customize it? Is that your approach?
Part of the motivation was that with that particular project was we want to build this exact rifle for the public. In fact, I have 4 complete sets of gun components to build that gun.
Gotcha.
But 2 of them are going to be 223s and 2 of them are going to be 6.5 Creedmoors. That's just what we decided. Those are our first ultimate reloader rifles.
Gotcha.
Still waiting on a laser machine for the case foam and stuff. So, but we've got all the parts for the rifles in house. And my plan was, I want to build a rifle for someone where they can go and find some off the shelf ammo that's going to be killer out of that rifle. And then also as a bonus, you could supply them with the load data. Here's this case, this bullet, this primer, this powder charge weight, all of that, so that they could replicate it themselves.
Yeah. If you do this, the gun is going to shoot better than you probably can.
Yep. And that's really where a lot of the motivation for me comes into hand loading, is that load development process will likely unlock something really great. You might have to find a few different projectiles and try those. But it's amazing what you can do with hand loading to tighten things up and to fine tune. Sometimes a particular bullet, for some reason, the rifle just likes it better inherently.
Sure.
Like it's really easy to make, like for my 224 Valkyrie, the Nosler 70 grain RDFs shot better than anything else I tried.
And it may be obviously independent of what you normally like. Like, oh, I like Accubons, or I like this or that.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, but the gun may prefer something else and shoot way better.
Yeah, totally. And then you could develop a hunting load that's going to get you the accuracy that you want and the type of bullet construction, you know, that you prefer for the type of game you're hunting. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of possibilities with it.
So people getting into reloading, one of the good things now, right, is we're starting to see powder, primers, and components are more available. I mean, for a little while there, I don't know, 18 months or something, it was like unobtainium. It was just like, forget about it. I mean, even us, you and I, talking to Hodgin, whoever, I mean, they were very straight with us. Like, yeah, it's really hard.
Yeah.
We don't have anything.
Yeah. So I'm partnered with them, and it's taken me 8 months to get powder at times.
Right. It's like legitimately, they want to sell it, I promise. But
yeah, they do.
It's just been crazy. But I want to just say that to say, if someone's listening to this, go, yeah, but there's no components out there. Like, hold on, time out. Have you checked lately?
Right.
Because I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm getting emails from Brownells going, hey, we have primers, we have powder.
Yep.
What about complete? They have a lot of complete kits for starting. Is that where you send people, or do you say, you know, I would recommend this type of press or this type of thing, or just buy the kit?
I think it depends on how picky you are.
Yeah, fair.
Right? And how much time you want to spend researching it. And I'm actually thinking about working with retailers like Mid-South Shooter Supply and maybe Creedmoor Sports. Those are a couple of my retailing partners. Working with them to, hey, here's Gavin's kind of economy reloading kit. And it could maybe even mix brands, you know? And then on the Creedmoor side, they're more my precision rifle people for gear and stuff. Here's the, you know, Forster Coax precision kit, right? And I can take this press and this priming tool and, you know, kind of piece together different options for people and, you know, save money and save time. I kind of like the kit thing, but you know how it goes. There's usually, it's like the variety pack from Costco.
They're one of the flavors you're not going to like.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're like, no, there's 4 flavors, 3 of them I like. Right. And then why is it there these jalapeno chips are still in the shelf?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
The caramel sriracha that they're testing out, and no one actually is going to eat this ever.
Yep. But like if someone is into taking their time precision reloading, linemen, for instance, I know you guys were using their stuff for the class, and they have an ultimate reloading kit that has a good assortment of gear, and I think it's a good collection.
A good place to start, at least, right?
Exactly.
Versus trying to figure it all out. Okay, get the kit, start using it, and then maybe you say, I don't like this particular thing or that particular thing, and go find something else. But
right.
That's okay.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with getting used equipment either if you have a family member or go to a garage sale, but you kind of need to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. I would imagine, there could be stuff that's maybe not in good condition and been mistreated, but I can imagine like loading presses are like treadmills. Like there's probably a lot of them out there that have been very lightly used.
Yes.
I'm going to get into reloading.
Yep.
And then he's like, I don't have time for this.
If what you need is a single stage press, unless it's in the bottom of a saltwater, reservoir or something, it's probably going to be working just fine.
Yeah. I mean, those things are like cast iron, seriously sturdy. At least a lot of them are.
They typically take the same shell holders. They typically have 7/8/14 threading for dies. Some of them have the bushing you can remove and run either larger dies or like a quick change die bushing kind of thing. And you could just, I found this at a garage sale and it came with the powder measure. Okay, so I need this stuff. Like I have a list on my website of stuff that you need for pistol and for rifle. So
good deal. All right. Website?
UltimateReloader.com.
God, that's really easy. Okay. UltimateReloader.com. You're getting into reloading. You're thinking about getting into reloading. I know you are. Gavin, thanks for being on with us.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan.
All right. That's it for us. We will see you guys next time on Gun Talk Nation.